And up here in the top right-hand corner of the map, Cloud Kingdom throwing out the good luck, good luck, good luck, good luck, good luck. Have fun. It's Grubby. DeMuslim losing a good luck in his step with the good luck, good luck, good luck. Down here in the bottom left-hand corner, our blue Terran player, Barbecue Man.
I see now. DeMuslim removes a good luck for every victory.
Yes.
So if he wins this one, expect only 2 good lucks.
Yes.
In the next one. Because you've already used one of your lucks in never mind, that doesn't make sense. Because he won the game, so why would... Yep, all right. So we'll just stray away from that. If somebody comes up with a justification, I envy you. But here we are, guys. Cloud Kingdom PVT. I love this map for Protoss versus Terran. It's excellent.
Yeah.
There's just so many options is really what it boils down to. The one thing I would say is probably not an option is going for a fast fourth.
Yeah.
So that's really the only thing you can't do easily on this map.
I agree. It's way too exposed. Not only does it have, multiple paths and even ground up to the front, but if you see behind, it almost reminds me of Zelnaga Caverns to a degree in terms of the fourth, where the third was on Zelnaga Caverns, where there was that ramp that was actually behind where you could station units and start picking off workers. It's really easy to deny that, but this map tends to stabilize at 3 base very, very long games.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. Thinking about some things that work really, really well on this map. Of course, you have the whole Twilight Council route, Blink Stalkers, Storm, everything down that path just has incredible success. Blink Stalkers, there's millions of cliffs. You can hop from the third into the main directly, and then Storms are fantastic out in the middle of the map because you have all these ledges. You can get a Zelnaga, you can see their army, you can see it coming forward, and you can storm them from up top. So that obviously is really, really effective as well. Then you get air. Even things like Phoenix Harass are incredible on this map because you look behind the natural expansion. There's a big cliff face. You can kind of just come over it, lift up units. Same thing in the main, guys. You can swing in from the left-hand side. There's just honestly the only and of course Colossus are just excellent on every map.
Oh
so.
yeah.
But, a little less so on this. I can't tell you how many games I've seen lost by a Protoss player because there are, inaccessible areas where the Vikings just come and destroy all the Colossi because they're standing too close to an area that has cliffs over it.
Yep.
Yep.
It can happen in a variety of places, yeah. I mean, depending on where you have vision, even just up and around the top towards the Zelnaga Towers if your opponent doesn't have control of them. So, Grubby, of course, as I was pointing out to you guys, decided to get his gas and did what a lot of Protoss players will do. He cut his gas down to just 1 worker so he could put up his expansion that much faster when he detected the command center first. Now going into double gas and his cybernetics core, so everything hits at about the right time. So we'll start to see Stalkers, Sentries, Warp Gate technology, and a robotics facility, oh my. But we'll see what path Grubby decides to go down very soon.
This is going to be aptly timed if he opts for a Warp Gate and a Sentry, but he goes for a Warp Gate and a Stalker, so it could be some really like a quick robo for an Observer, as we were talking about earlier. He saw the fast command center. He knows he's not going to get pressured immediately. I'm waiting to see if he opts for the robo, but of course, we were discussing that Stargate and Twilight Council tend to work really, really well. In fact, he's just going to throw down a second gateway for now.
A second and third gateway on 27 supply. So he's not feeling all that secure. Well, he's either not feeling all that secure or he wants to get in and he wants to put on pressure immediately. We'll find out which of those it's going to be. It looks like he's afraid of a few units out of DeMuslim.
Yeah, he's built 2 Stalkers now, so I do feel like it's a defensive play out of Grubby. We were looking initially whether he started up. He had the gas. He had 150 gas, so he could have started Sentry Warp Tech. And you want to start those Sentries early if you're going to intend to press. You want to make sure they build up energy and you have lots of force fields. Here we're seeing 2 Stalkers, and a Twilight Council is a quick follow-up from Grubby. So it does look like he may go into Blink or some High Templar as a follow-up here. Could be saving up that gas, of course, by making Stalkers so that he can tech even further.
Okay, well, we'll see here as that Twilight Council is only about 15 seconds away. Yeah, should be done pretty soon here. He's also got that Warp Gate technology just chugging along at the moment, but not expending his resources into it. In fact, this man has banked up a ton of gas. We'll see what it goes to here in a second. He's got the resources for Blink. He's also... There it is. And Blink is coming up right now. So Stalker production should resume after this Warp Gate technology has finished up. Otherwise, Grubby just focusing on his economy for now.
Yeah, so Blink play not too surprising. What have we got going on DeMuslim's side of the map? Conversely right now, 2 bunkers, in fact, which isn't a bad read from our British Terran player from EG, guys. He's also working on Stim, but it's only about a third of the way done. And it looks like he's going to be opting here for an engineering bay. And that's just a pretty standard timing. You want to make sure you don't get caught off by DTs.
That's right. And Grubby, as we can see, does have the robotics bay or robotics facility coming up. He is going to be able to put on a bit of pressure here in a bit. DeMuslim, though, with that stim coming along the way, he's actually opening up with the exact same build that he did last time.
This is actually looking a little bit scary for DeMuslim. He's opting for really, really fast medevac, so he's teching here. He's also getting fast upgrades, and he's using bunkers to protect himself against what is about to be a blink directly into his main. You see the observer guys already on the way. So Grubby's going to bypass everything in terms of defense at the front, and DeMuslim's really investing into the late game at this moment.
You're exactly right. I mean, there's so much cliff line that you can play around with on this map that it makes it extremely easy and makes Blinkstalkers very versatile at being able to pick in and deny common things. It could be picking off tech labs, it could be picking off just sheer amounts of workers, pulling your opponent's army out of position, and you just disrupt, do tech damage, do economic damage, until eventually you just push through and smash forward on 3 bases on your own.
It is really good that DeMuslim went for an extremely fast stim here, however. It would have been so easy to see stim killed off, but we're seeing actually an 850 stim complete, so that's really, really quick. DeMuslim is going to be throwing down a couple extra barracks, which is also very nice, but you know, medevac's starting to hit the field now, and that's 200 minerals, 200 gas. That could be Marine Marauder. Here it is. Blink into the main, Kevin. What kind of damage are we going to see?
Well, there's already 2 workers that have been killed, and quickly going to be more. 4 or 5 workers are down. Looks like he is going to get a deny on combat shields here in a second. DeMuslim going around the side, and combat shields is saved. I think it had 1 HP. That was ridiculous.
Yep, I think it did too. We didn't get to click on it quick enough, but that was insanely close. There was no hit points. It was gone. The bar was empty. So I've seen that actually with Warp Gate. It's like, it's completely done. Full counter. It doesn't matter if you unpower the pylon. It actually doesn't finish.
All right, well, Grubby's going to have to watch out. Yeah, with the Marauders in there, it's too much damage. If it's only Marines and they're not stemmed up, you can sit there and you can waste the shields on your Stalkers and just blink them back one at a time and do damage to the bunkers and pull workers off the line to force economic damage out of your opponent. Grubby, though, is not going to move into any sort of a quick robotics bay. No. It's going to be 7-gate Immortal Charge Lot Archon.
Yeah. It does look like it's going to be a pretty powerful thing here, but let's point out that Grubby hasn't lost anything yet. He got in there, did some free economic damage, got blink, and, you know, now he got a lot of scouting information. He popped in there. He saw that, you know, obviously Stim wasn't what was being researched. Oh, hold that thought. Stalker's coming in right now. We're going to see Grubby lose his first unit. Will he lose a second Stalker as well? Oh, the damage that he had done for free earlier being kind of equalized now by DeMuslim.
Yeah, plays around with him for a little bit more, forces another stim out, but you're right. Unfortunately, blinked up directly into that army and paid the price for it. At the same time, though, he's getting completely scouted. DeMuslim is going to have a perfect read as to what's going on. We'll see continued medevac production because he's not going to need any sort of Vikings whatsoever. He's just going to need to start some Ghost Academies here pretty soon.
Yeah, he should be dropping that any second, but we do see a command center actually going to be the decision for the moment, at least, out of DeMuslim. He's continuing to pop out Marines, Marauders, but Grubby's investing a lot here. You know, he's got Storm, Charge, +2. For his armor. I mean, a lot of things going to be wrapping up in a moment or two here for Grubby. DeMuslim is also starting his upgrades.
All right, well, the Blink Stalkers are going to have the flexibility to sit up here on the high ground, ward against drops, and then blink down when the fight actually happens. Nice force fields up at the front to take out the first line of forces, but now he's sitting there a little bit too long and loses a couple of additional zealots where he didn't necessarily need to. Archon, though, providing a bit of splash damage before it dies. Nice force field actually allowing the zealots to get in there and just chew through the units off to the side, but Grubby is in a little bit of a difficult spot now as DeMuslim trying to continue pushing forward. He is actually going to be able to knock out a fair number of zealots, but they're so hardy with their 1-1 upgrades.
Yeah, Grubby didn't bring down those Stalkers for some time. They arrived really, really late, and now, I mean, it looks like he's going to hold this off, but at what cost? He's lost so many units, now down 75 to 100 supply. What a great engagement there for DeMuslim.
Yeah, so DeMuslim makes his way away with the last few units, but Blink Stalkers are pretty darn good at chasing down medevacs, and they may be able to take out a couple here in a second, especially once that Blink cooldown is done. But here come the rest of the units from DeMuslim, and that's, of course, what Grubby has to watch out for. Picks off 2 medevacs and gets himself back home.
Yes, he does, without really... one Stalker should be able to blink away. There he goes. So, all right. at least he got a little bit of a strike back there, but yeah, Grubby not in the best of positions right now. Currently down by a fair margin on supply, and DeMuslim is equal on upgrades with him.
And DeMuslim's already finished his third orbital command. That's going to be sat down over at, the third here momentarily. More Marines making their way out as DeMuslim gathers his force here in the middle of the map, but he's lost almost all the energy on his medevacs, so it's going to be difficult for him to be able to heal up during this. And that could become problematic because Grubby does have a lot of storms at his disposal. 4 already, they'll become Archons right afterwards. Still a powerful army, needs the threat of some Colossi here in a bit, and I'm still a bit shocked that we haven't seen a Ghost Academy at all.
That is really surprising. That storm did so much damage, Kevin. Another one going to go down and clean up a lot of these units as well. Grubby saving the day right now with his Psy Storms.
No kidding, those were just perfect. And he does the damage he needs to, forces another stim out of his opponent's units. Charge Lots are going to chase down a few more Marauders. And wow, DeMuslim was just completely turned away there. Great engagement from Grubby.
Fantastic. Who's now up in supply. He's equal on upgrades, admittedly, but you know, he's in a much better position than he was a moment or two ago. And in fact, yeah, didn't lose his high valuable Archons there that he did actually have to warp in after the fight. So either way, Factory now at this state going to be probably cleaned up finally, right? You know?
Yeah.
I think he's been alive forever.
Well, DeMuslim's building another starport in response because he wants to make sure that he's not going to need to build another factory until very late in this game if it actually gets to that state. Barbecue Man, though, he's got a lot of forces in the middle. There's Ghost Academy. Oh, it's really exposed sitting outside of the third. And so he will be able to tack on those ghosts here momentarily, but man, I'm sure he would have wished to have those in that last engagement.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he took so much damage from those storms and didn't get to do anything to the High Templar. He had no answer. The High Templar, of course, were like, hey, let me be useful, and then turn into a powerful unit. So Grubby's got to be very happy with how that engagement went, of course. DeMuslim going to be feeling a little bit of regret. We'll see if he can get in and get some revenge right now. Oh my god, the storms from Grubby right now, Kevin, are tearing DeMuslim apart.
And DeMuslim actually ran into the natural 2 to try and do some damage, but Charge Lots were already waiting for him, and he completely turns that around. So Grubby now fully chasing these units away. He doesn't warp those in quick enough for the charge to actually be, what's the word I'm looking for here? For it to actually be done, so he can't catch up to the units as they're being sent out, but he will start to slowly make his way back up to the front. He's still got another 2 storms actually in return here. Mobius Reactor's on the way for DeMuslim, but it's not there in time, and another perfect storm kills 5 units and completely weakens the rest.
Oh my god, Grubby, I feel like he's bowling right now, and he's just hitting strike after strike after strike. DeMuslim is in so much trouble right now if these can... Oh, the storms are just absolutely decimating the Marauders right now for DeMuslim, who's on a full-on retreat. Every single unit he possesses right now is in the red. Grubby, can he just steamroll his way to victory from this point? I believe he may be able to.
Because of the lack of ghosts and because these Templar have been able to do so much damage, Grubby's not taken any real threat to his army at any stage of the game. I mean, DeMuslim had his opportunities when he was up on 2 base, but since then, Grubby's just been dominating, and now he's moving over to double Colossus production. As soon as 2 Colossi hit and he's able to push out 1 more time, that is going to spell disaster for DeMuslim.
Wow. Yeah, it's going to be a 200 supply Protoss here. Maybe DeMuslim will get himself up around 165 or so, but looks like Grubby's going to do some unit trades in the meantime. He wants to make room to spend all this money that he's bringing in, of course, while he's taking this 4th base. Also, make sure that DeMuslim isn't taking one, but is he going to move all the way up? You know, it's a tough engagement. I actually love this Ghost Academy positioning for a heavy Zealot-based composition. It's beautiful. The Zealots can try to come in and fight, but they're going to get caught up in this very narrow choke here you can see above the Ghost Academy. I do really like that positioning of that building out of DeMuslim.
And he's finally starting to add on some ghosts now. The first 3 this entire game are making their way onto the map right now. DeMuslim is switching over into Viking production with +1 weapons. Looks like he's got a pretty good read now on what his opponent's doing, but it's a case of too little too late. 2 Colossi, Thermal Lance is done in 40 seconds, and he's not even going to wait for it. He's got Storms, he's got Archons, he's got Charge Lots, he's got everything here. And that Ghost Academy you're talking about did just die immediately. Storms hitting the rest of the bio units. And Grubby once again proving that he has very effective control. He's starting to do economic damage, and even though there are no extended thermal lances here, he can kind of just sit back, pull back, use these zealots as a meat shield, and get ready for another attack.
Yep, 3rd is done for DeMuslim, and he's got nowhere to turn from here. I mean, he's just now getting a few Vikings on the field. But Grubby behind this is grabbing his 4th. He's going to be dropping a lot of gateways here in a moment so he can just non-stop replenish his army when it does finally die. In fact, he's going to be popping out 2 warp prisms as well and getting speed so that he really just will never be stuck below 200 supply.
All right, well, he's going to charge to the front with the rest of his Templar that he has in defense, too, because so far DeMuslim hasn't been able to do anything in the way of, being able to get himself out on the map and establish some control. Look at Grubby's vision right now. We'll just grab any stalker. He's got pylons and zealots everywhere on the map. There's almost nothing that escapes his vision. So Grubby has complete map dominance. He knows he doesn't have to reserve his forces because no drops are headed his way. And he's just looking great.
Oh, the passivity right now coming out of him is fantastic. He realizes I am in a glorious position. Why force myself into this tight engagement angle that favors ranged units when I could really just wait for him to, as we're seeing now, DeMuslim has to eventually try to come and take this 4th. And when he does, it is a much more open position than that 3rd.
And Grubby's getting ready to take advantage of it. Looks like he's got warp prisms making his way around the corners of the map, getting everything in position that he needs. This is just a bunch of High Templar that he can use with his army. Already storming the front and another full connection with that storm. This warp prism hasn't made its way in quite yet. Oh, the Templar have to drop down. That was actually a pretty big loss for Grubby there. And we'll see if DeMuslim can actually use that, picking up those 3 Templar and not having any storms here to fight his way back.
Good call from Grubby, backing up. He does not want to engage on that ramp. And this is kind of what you were talking about earlier, Kevin, where you said this game can last forever on 3 base versus 3 base, and here's why. When you go to take that 4th, DeMuslim's in a very dangerous position right now. We can see that the fight is actually not going to take place once again. DeMuslim just not happy with his angle of engagement. The Vikings coming in, trying to focus down the Colossi. DeMuslim going to be losing a lot of forces here, though, as the Colossi do fall down to 148 supply. Grubby chasing in his Zealots, even continuing to do a lot of damage. The Stalkers coming in there, huge amount of DPS, really swinging the tide, but it does look like DeMuslim may hold at least for the moment.
He does, but he's lost his natural. At the same time, he's even got Templar that are inside of his base now, trying to make his way up with a few forces, but unfortunately for him, Grubby can just overrun that position and reinforce on superior economy. So, yes, DeMuslim may not be mining all that much here, but it doesn't matter. There's GG. He was down enough, and that is going to be a 2-1 advantage for Grubby. And, as I have been told, actually, that is actually going to be the set. DeMuslim had computer problems afterwards and would not be able to make it into the next game. So that is actually going to clean up our first set of the night. DeMuslim would forfeit his last game. Grubby advances into the semifinals.
That game was so easily defined by Grubby's fantastic storms and DeMuslim's complete inability to have an answer to them.
Yep, there we have it, guys.
He said it multiple times. He needed a Ghost Academy.
Yeah, he just never did until it was just too late. There were times when he could have taken advantage of the situation. Didn't work out for him. That's going to be our first set in the bag. Grubby advances to the round of 4. Now we have a best of 5 TVT, which is going to be Constant versus Lucifron, which I'm looking forward to. Should be fun. We're going to run to a commercial break, and when we get back, guys, time for our second best of 5 of the night.